When it rains, it pours. And that's exactly what the start of the season feels like for the Toronto Blue Jays. The injuries just keep piling up, but honestly, there's one issue they have to fix if the Blue Jays actually wants to contend. Jeff Hoffman is off to a rough start. Three blown saves already, including back-to-back ugly outings. And the frustrating part, this isn't a new problem. It burned the Blue Jays last season. They didn't really address it, and now we're right back here again. So, the big question we've got to ask today, is it already time for the Blue Jays to take the closer role away from Jeff Hoffman?
Let the hot takes fly. Jays and Giants updates around the bases. Box scores, big moments running through the paces. Giants orange burn and Jays blue proud. From the cove to the dome, turn it up loud.
Welcome back to Around the Bases. I'm Almar and I've got Armando with me. And we're jumping right back into the Blue Jays bullpen because we've seen this story before and it didn't end well last time. So, Armando, what's the move here? Are you staying patient with Hoffman? How are you staying patient with Hoffman or are you making a switch?
I'm sticking close. I'm sticking with Hoffman. The skipper, he already yesterday he came out and said after the game, he's my guy. He's our closer. The reports like from like all weekend, even today, this morning, saying like he is the closer, right? So I think this early in the season, 3 weeks, you have to stick with the guys that you made up the lineup in spring training. Like they built this roster, they believed in Huffman. You have to stick with them this very early in the season. But I think you have to say he's on a short leash, and it might be closer by committee if things don't approve. But at this point, uh, you either he's the skipper saying the right thing. I was like, he's my guy. I've given him encouragement, but not just the GM, but it's also like some teammates have come out and said like, we believe in him. We think he can do the job. So he just needs to get more. He needs to get comfortable. Whatever his mechanics or mental, he needs to get comfortable in that role again, right? So like the blown save came in the eighth inning, giving up the grand slam, right? He was not. They brought him in early, so obviously they're trying to figure out. But at this point, like you said, they didn't address it in the offseason. They went into spring training saying, this is our guy. And at this point, you have to stick with that.
Yeah, you mentioned that that eighth inning against Arizona when it was a 2-2 tie and the Blue Jays gave Hoffman the eighth inning and see what he had. Was it was it on purpose? Do you think let's say you put Hoffman in the eighth, they didn't score. Like Arizona, the Diamondbacks did score on that inning, and then the Blue Jays scored on the ninth, and now you burnt Hopman already in the eighth. So you're gonna be forced to like use Louis Varland to close out the game. Was it like intentional? Do you think it didn't work? It didn't work,
No,
but do you think it was intentional on their part?
I think, in my opinion, the way I see it, 2-2, right? You won the first game. You're feeling pretty good. I think you're trying to win the series, right? So you go with the guy that you think it's going to win the game. At this point, maybe the eighth inning came and said, like, you know what? We need a shutdown inning so we can get to the ninth and close it out. So you went with your best pitcher available in the eighth to get the win, and that backfire. So the way I see it is that they were trying to get wrapped up the series win.
Yep,
After
I
after so many losing so many series in a row, I think that was the way I see it. It's that they were trying to win the series.
Okay, yeah, different perspective what I see because I think they were trying to like change the guard there, but it didn't work out. Who knows now, right? Who knows?
Right,
But
right.
yeah, but
But
I
but what if it goes in those tie games? When you're trying to win, sometimes like managers will save their closest to the 10th inning. If you know that you're going to go into extra, you save your pitcher. I mean, your closer, maybe go and stretch them out a couple of innings, right? Like either the ninth and 10th, right? So who knows if Hoffman it would have escaped, have a quick inning, he could have been out there in the ninth inning, right? So, but it kind of seems like with so many back-to-back blown saves, they probably were trying to get him comfortable in those pressure situations, right? So,
Yeah, it's they're in the Blue Jays are in a rough spot right now, right? It like
right,
you have so many injuries and you can't hit, and it doesn't help that the Blue Jays can't hit and they can score runs, and now you have this Jeff Hoffman problem, right? And
right,
I'm hoping it's only mechanical issue and not something like he's injured or something wrong with him, right? I'm hoping that's not the case with Hoffman, because sometimes when there's lingering issues with the arm or there's a fatigue, then you because the pitches in that eighth inning, like it's nowhere close. None of his pitches were close in the strike zone, so that's the worry. And then
right.
when you're like behind all these hitters, they're gonna zone in one pitch, and that's the fastball. And if you throw a cookie right down the middle,
Yeah,
it's gonna
right.
go a
So,
long way, right?
right. Um, but I think you need, at this point, he doesn't feel comfortable, right? So he needs to get comfortable in that role again, under pressure, right? Like not everybody can be a closer, right? Like you might have success for a couple seasons, but then it closes the door closes fast on you if you don't. You have to have a that mentality of that. I'm the guy. The ninth inning, I'm the guy. I'm the save, right? You have to take pride in that right now. So right now, you see a pitcher who's not comfortable, and it also could be because the whole team is playing not good, right? So the whole pitching staff in general is not playing good right now. So that's extra pressure to get the win, and maybe yeah, maybe just he was trying to do a little too much in the eighth inning, right? So, but some I'm not sure if that was communicated with Hoffman saying like, "Hey, we might bring you in early to work some things out." And some once again, if that communication is not communicated, they don't know how to pitch if it's not the ninth inning, right? So I think that's probably internal conversation that needs to happen. What is going on? But at this point, I think that you stick with the guys that you went into the season with, but it's a short list, and it might be a closer by committee. But because those numbers are Hoffman right now, 7.1 ERA with two or three blown saves already in the season, that is that is. He even said he admitted I'm not pitching well. I need to work on my commands, right? So he knows he's not doing the job right now. So and the number shows, but if you go into May, which is happening soon, um, you might have to a short leash, right? So and
Yeah,
just probably find
the stuff is there with Hoffman. He has like
Mhm.
20 strikeouts, but like you said, the ERA is 7.71 right now, and your whip is at 204. That's not gonna cut it for
No, it's not
for
right.
a closer. Yeah.
No,
But
so
like you said, John Snyder is saying the right thing. I said this on X. John Snyder, the manager for the Blue Jays, he won't throw his players under the bus. That's not how he roll, and that's why the Blue Jays locker is it's good for like when players are talking about the camaraderie with this Blue Jays team. They want to be in this locker because they have like a family here, and they won't throw each other under the bus no matter what's going on or off the field here. And they won't like the players around Jeff Hoffman, they won't throw Jeff Hoffman under the bus. But the reality here, Armando, is they're not winning games, and it's fully magnified now if you're the closer in the ninth inning and you can get the job done, right? I think for myself, I'm gonna try Louis Varland there at the ninth inning, see what happens there. He has the stuff for a closer, and you brought Louis Varland in at the trade deadline last year to stabilize the pen, but
Right.
not to close but not to close games. But you gotta try at least to see what Louis Varland has. Maybe like compete against Jeff Hoffman for the closer, or they can share the closing role, but not like outright demote Jeff Hoffman to another piece here in the bullpen, right?
Correct. And it's not a bad thing for a healthy competition, right? I think last year we saw it with the Mets handle Diaz situation, right? He was demoted from the closer role. He didn't have the stuff. He had an ERA very high, similar. I think it was higher, but then they were putting him in different innings. Like I saw a couple games that he was pitching the fifth inning. Like he was coming after the starter was pulled after a game, right? So they were trying us. They were trying him in the seventh inning, eighth inning, trying to find his. His mechanics and his confidence back, and slowly he came back into the closer role. So it could be like if things don't turn around, like when you're coming into May now, because you should have enough data on your own team now that what's working and what's not working. If things are not improving with Huffman, then you have to go see what else can we do, right? So Tyler Rogers, which I've been talking about him for a while now with the Blue Jays. He's he's a setup man. He's not a closer, but he can close the game to give the closer a break. So he has experience, but in a committee, right? So that could be another. If it's a three-man committee for the closer role, you might have to do that, right? So,
Yeah,
but
for the time.
getting back on track is the number one priority.
Yeah, for the time being, I think you have to the Blue Jays have to explore this situation with closer. Like you don't have to have like an actual closer. I I know that the Blue Jays brought in Hoffman. They gave him money to be the closer. I get that he's expensive, 11 million a year, but like you mentioned, even Edwin Diaz got demoted to like the fifth inning because he didn't have the stuff. These are professionals here.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hoffman is a professional ball player, but I gotta mention that these players are still human. They're going through it. Like John Schneider said, Jeff Hoffman might be going through a rough spell here, and for us fans, yeah, we can say things about what's going on, but stuff being like attacking the players themselves because they can do the job done. That's not how this thing goes. And but like you mentioned, Armando, we the Blue Jays have to at least try Tyler Rogers or Louis Varland, or see the three of them rotating as the closer, not
Right.
have like a primary closer at
And you
nine.
might, yeah, it might be by committee, and maybe giving Huffman some more time off, right? Like just it's kind of hard. He has pitched under 10 innings right now, so that means that within 3 weeks he's been pitching a lot for a reliever, right? So maybe giving him an extra day off, like here and there, closer by committee. But it's a closer role is you have to have the dog in you. A closers are a different breed, right? That's why they get the light show, the music in the ninth inning, the stadium lights go off, right? Because they're a different breed, and it's not meant for everybody.
Yeah, and I gotta mention this, Armando. The World Series home run that Jeff Hoffman gave up to Miguel Rojas, did that affect him somehow pitching this season, does it linger on his head right now that every time he pitches he thinks about that World Series? We know this, the baseball fans know this, and everyone knows this, that closer closers have to have like short-term memory, right? You blow a save today, you have to go back there tomorrow with a fresh set of like mind, right? And it's a different type of ball game. But like losing that game 2 outs away, did that affect him somehow?
I don't think so. They are professionals, like you mentioned, right? Like it's a new season. Yeah, maybe like in the soft time or during the off season, it's those things, right? But at this point, it's a new season, right? So there's no new issues that come up, new mechanics, whatever. Maybe you try new things, new release point, right? Maybe you change your stance. Who knows, right? Like it's maybe he needs to go back to his. If he had a new mechanics, maybe he's just going back, tweaking a little bit. So I don't think it
Well,
lingers.
good thing you mentioned that mechanic, like tweaking something. And I believe Jeff Hoffman added like a split finger this season,
Could be, yeah.
and that might be the cost of everything, because you tried so hard to like perfect that split finger fastball, and then you like all of a sudden all your pitches doesn't work, right?
Exactly right. So, and especially the split fender, that is the pitch uh, of the that is the number one pitch that pitchers are going with. In the last couple of seasons, has become the favorite for pitchers. So, but it does change things, right? So I think like the bullpen, the pitching staff will work with them and kind of maybe just tweak a couple things to get Huffman back on track. Um, because you need, in order to repeat last season and the success, it needs to start with the closer role, right? And shut down and close and guarantee those wins and win those series wins, right? So like that, it's a new job. Like everyone has a job, right? So it's time to work for the pitching, for the coaches and for the players.
Yeah, yeah, like we keep mentioning, the Blue Jays has to start hitting and scoring runs, especially for the starting rotation, and especially for Kevin Gossman and Dylan Cease. They haven't been scoring a lot of runs here, but dry spells would happen, and you have to win like a 2-1, 4-3 game, and you need a closer to actually close out games, and the Blue Jays badly need Jeff Hoffman to figure things out quickly if they want to at least contend, because there good thing, like you mentioned this few weeks ago, good thing that AL East, like the AL East, is that like the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays are not running away with this division right now. If not, you'll be stuck there at the bottom of AL East, and it's really hard to climb up on this division, especially in May and June. And once you're stuck at the bottom of the standing by May or June, it's really tough to like
Yes, it
actually like
does.
climb up and win.
No, you cannot dig yourself a hole even bigger, or it's gonna be hard to get out, right? So I think we've been mentioning like you can lose, you can definitely you can't lose it in October, but you can definitely uh, distance yourself, right? So they just need to fight this wave and just swim against the current to get to either reinforces come or you just have to just grind it out, become a chippy team, right? Who's just grinding out wins, and it's not going to be an easy road, but like they have a good team. They have the veterans to turn it around.
Yeah, we will see what the Blue Jays do this week with Jeff Hoffman and the bullpen with the closer role. If Jeff Hoffman sees the eighth or ninth inning, we will see right away if John Snyder is just speaking gas right now, or he's just protecting Jeff Hoffman, which he
Which
always
is,
does.
it's not a bad thing to do, right? Like if it's, he's not, he needs to build confidence somehow, right? So even if they're not saying it publicly that it's not going to be the closer, he needs to build confidence in his players and his team right now, because he knows they're it's not going the way everybody thought.
Yeah, you cannot put someone down when they're already like
Correct.
laying down, right? You cannot stomp on their head just because
Hmm.
they're down. So good on John Snyder, and I know Blue Jays fans are not happy with what John Snyder said about the closing role and about Jeff Hoffman, but that's how well John Snyder does so with the Blue Jays. And for the most part, we like that from Just Snyder. But if they keep losing, then the tone would be way different.
Correct. But like once again, it's April. We're reacting to every move, every situation, right? So because we don't have enough data to say, oh, he's in a slump, he get out of it. We haven't seen that. It's only 3 weeks, right? So um we just can't be reacting to everything this early in the season.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have we have a different different ideology with Jeff Hoffman right now, Armando, and that's good. That's good for baseball. We can't always agree with stuff, especially with baseball. So all right, now we want to hear from you. What do you think the Blue Jays should do with Jeff Hoffman? Should they start should they stay patient, or is it time to make a change? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't
Jays and
miss the next
Giants
one.
updates
Thanks for
around the
hanging out with us
bases.
this
Box
week.
scores, big
We'll
moments
see you
running
next
through the
time on
paces.
Around
Giants
the
orange
Bases.
burn and Jays blue proud from the coast to the dome. Turn it up loud.